Amusement parks are fun for the whole family, or so we're told. Roller coasters, haunted houses, and various other attractions are supposed to provide excitement and entertainment for both adults and children. But just how safe are they? The history of amusement park accidents will almost certainly surprise you. Stick around for 3 stories of tragic accidents in amusement parks, usually resulting from laziness and bad luck. And if you're into really messed up history, our channel has a lot more to offer. Haunted Castle. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, haunted houses were a very popular attraction. For a time, Six Flags had one of the largest and most successful haunted house attractions in the world. That is, until it killed a group of teenagers. The Haunted Castle attraction was located in Jackson Township, New Jersey. Its entire purpose was to amuse visitors by frightening them. The ride was constructed of 2 sets of 8 semi-trailers that were arranged in a mirror configuration. There were 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. Another trailer was placed in between the 2 sets and functioned as a control room for the light and sound. From the outside, the attraction was made to resemble a large medieval castle. Visitors would walk over a moat and encounter a doorman who would direct them to an entrance. During busy times at night, both sets of semi-trailers would be in use. Otherwise, only one set was active. The doorman would direct guests as necessary. Once visitors entered the attraction, it was purposely very dark. They had to feel their way through a twisted maze of corridors that was 450 feet long. Along the way, various noises would be played through speakers to scare the guests. Actors would dress as characters such as Lizzie Borden or Frankenstein, then appear suddenly when visitors weren't expecting them. The inability to see what was happening, combined with these random events, definitely scared people as intended. When the Haunted Castle was originally installed in 1978, it was intended to be a seasonal attraction. Six Flags initially had no desire to make it permanent, but it soon became very popular. Thousands of people a day would visit the attraction, making it the most popular and profitable item in the park. Because of that, management decided it should remain on a more permanent basis. It was moved to its new and final location in New Jersey, where it accepted visitors for the next few years. When constructing the corridors that visitors would navigate, foam pads were used to cover much of the walls and ceiling. Furthermore, they used materials that were quite flammable. It was a poor choice to say the least. Everything appeared to be just fine though, until May 11th, 1984. A fire broke out at 6:35 p.m. The air conditioning helped spread the flames and the corridors began filling with smoke. Flammable building materials then did the rest. Fire began racing through the semi-trailers. Of the 17 trailers that were in use that night, 9 of them were engulfed in flames. When the fire started, 29 guests were still navigating through the haunted castle. Most of them escaped and 7 were treated for smoke inhalation. Not everyone was so lucky. A group of 9 teenagers had entered not long before the fire started, and only 1 of them escaped. The fire was under control by 7:45 p.m., Incredibly, it took some time for anybody to realize how many children died. Among the props used for the attraction was a number of mannequins. Authorities could not easily distinguish the mannequins from the dead teenagers' burnt bodies. They had to rely mostly on dental records to identify the bodies. As expected, the locals were not pleased. A grand jury indicted Six Flags Great Adventure and its parent company Six Flags on September 14, 1984 for aggravated manslaughter. 2 park executives were also charged with manslaughter. During the subsequent trial, prosecutors focused on the fact that local inspectors repeatedly suggested installing sprinkler systems. And this was never done, thus why the park operators were at fault. The defense said that Six Flags carefully reviewed all safety recommendations, accepting some and rejecting others. They also claimed that sprinklers were installed in 1978, but never replaced after vandalism destroyed them in 1979. As the trial moved forward, it was found that various agencies at the local, state, and federal level failed to ever force the amusement park into any kind of compliance. Fire and safety regulations were being violated, but the enforcement agencies never chose to do anything about it. Then, the surviving teenager was brought as a witness for the prosecution. He said that he witnessed another teenager ignite a cigarette lighter to help find their way through the corridors. A piece of the foam padding was hanging down and caught fire. From there, it spread quickly, killing the trapped teenagers. The defense then claimed that none of the safety precautions would have mattered anyway since it was caused by arson. A jury deliberated for 13 hours and found all of the defendants not guilty. The jury foreman, when interviewed, said it was because all of the government officials had failed to do their jobs. The park was not safe, but if the government was doing its job, then it would have been shut down before any lives were lost. The families of those who died filed lawsuits against everybody even remotely involved in the disaster. 7 of the 8 families settled out of court for $2.5 million each. The 8th family chose to go to trial and was awarded $750,000. Park attendance at Six Flags in New Jersey fell sharply for the next several years. The park almost closed in 1987 but managed to survive. Safety equipment was installed to try and prevent another disaster from happening. Nobody else has been roasted to death at the park as far as we know. Mindbender. The West Edmonton Mall in Alberta, Canada is the largest mall in North America. It also contains its own indoor amusement park that today is called Galaxyland. From 1983 to 1995, it was called Fantasyland. As this was also the name of an attraction at Disney parks, a lawsuit forced the name change. In 1985, a looping roller coaster called Mindbender opened. It is still there and is the tallest indoor roller coaster in the world. It reaches a maximum height of 144 feet. When riders board the coaster and take their seats, the first thing they do is put on a seatbelt and some additional lap restraints. The operator also lowers large shoulder restraints over all the riders. When working properly, these function to keep riders firmly in their seats. When the ride starts, the roller coaster goes up a steep incline before dropping again. This continues into some loops where the riders are briefly upside down. The entire fear-inducing experience averages a little over 1 minute in most cases. On the evening of June 14, 1986, disaster struck. The 4th car on the coaster derailed right before reaching the 3rd and final loop on the track. The wheels slipped off the track, causing the car to sway back and forth. The car became damaged and the lap restraints released. All 4 passengers fell to the concrete below. The damaged car then prevented the remaining sections of the roller coaster from clearing the final loop. The coaster rolled backward until being abruptly stopped when the damaged car crashed into a concrete pillar. The remaining passengers were safely evacuated without serious injury. Of the 4 people that fell, 3 of them were killed. The one that lived was in critical condition and survived, but with life-altering injuries. An investigation after the accident found that 4 screws holding the wheel assembly together failed. A design flaw contributed to this problem, but mostly lack of motivation to use a screwdriver is what ultimately caused the car to derail and kill most of its passengers. Mindbender was closed following the tragic accident, but opened again in 1987. Numerous safety features were added to prevent future disasters from occurring. They have been successful so far. Tower of Power. Sometimes, amusement park accidents don't need to kill several people. Injuries can be both horrific and survivable under the right conditions. The Superman Tower of Power ride is currently installed at 3 different Six Flags parks. It used to be available at Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom also, until a gruesome accident happened. The ride was originally called the Hellevator, but was renamed in 2007. Its original name may have been more accurate where truth in advertising is concerned. There are several cars attached to the tower. Each car has 4 seats. Riders are directed to sit in one of these seats as they board the ride. When it starts, everyone is quickly lifted 177 feet into the air. They are briefly held there before being dropped for 154 feet at speeds up to 54 miles per hour. Magnetic brakes stop the riders just 23 feet above the ground. On June 21st, 2007, Kaitlyn Lasitter, 13 at the time, decided to enjoy this thrilling ride. As the riders were being lifted into the air, a cable snapped. The cable missed most of the riders, but it didn't miss this poor teenage girl. The cable made contact with her left leg and snapped the femur. The ride operator heard the cable snap and some unusual screaming as the cars climbed. He decided not to press the emergency stop button, and once the cars start to descend, it's too late to stop it. Unfortunately for Kaitlyn, who was hit by the cable on the way up, the ride down and a second encounter with the cable severed both of her feet. The day of the accident, an unidentified witness provided the following account to CNN. "The people on the ride just came and hit the ground. When I got up there, the lady said she was just sitting there and she didn't have no legs. And she was just there, calm, probably in shock from everything." Doctors were able to reattach Kaitlyn's right foot, but they couldn't save her other foot and had to amputate it. By the end of 2007, she was learning to walk again with crutches and a prosthetic device in place of her left leg and foot. The ride that caused Kaitlyn's suffering was dismantled in 2008. A settlement was reached between Six Flags and Kaitlyn's family that same year. The details are mostly private, but lifetime medical care was disclosed as part of the settlement. The facts. Here are some statistics that are rarely, if ever, mentioned in public. Between the years 1987 and 2000, there were an estimated 4.5 deaths related to amusement park rides per year. Keep in mind, this doesn't even include some of the worst accidents from the 1980s. Between 1990 and 2004, there were 52 deaths due to amusement park rides. Between 1990 and 2010, for every day between May and September, there was an average of 20 injuries sustained by children under 18 years old. And these are just the mishaps that required hospitalization. It doesn't include people who chose not to seek medical attention. As you might expect, children are hurt more frequently than adults. It is estimated that around 4,400 children are hurt each year at amusement parks. Only a small percentage, thankfully, require visiting a hospital. Between 1990 and 2000, 82,000 children were taken to an emergency room after suffering an injury due to an amusement park ride. An additional 10,000 suffered injuries on rides found outside amusement parks, such as those at malls, arcades, and other retail establishments. Another interesting fact is that girls are injured more often than boys. Usually, injuries are inflicted to the head, face, neck, arms, and legs. Additionally, 34% of the accidents happened at locations where the rides are considered permanent. Following closely behind, 29% occurred at locations with temporary rides, and the remainder were unclassified, meaning we don't really know where they happened. Amusement park rides are fun, when they aren't trying to kill you. And whether you have an accident in 1984 or 2007, the causes are usually the same. Engineering problems can go undetected for years. Combined with poor maintenance and bad timing, some rides become a roulette wheel of death, with each visitor taking their turn at spinning the wheel. Compared to even a decade ago, amusement park rides today have much more safety features. Lawsuits from the past have also provided ample encouragement for proper maintenance. But all it takes is one loose screw, and that planning and preparation means nothing. How do you feel about amusement park rides? Is it worth the risk, or do you prefer to avoid them? Please share your stories in the comments below. And thank you for watching Bad Things in History.